Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. NFL Week 1 is officially in the books, and a while back I did my Week 1 predictions, and I was 11 for 15 on my predictions. However, I did forget the Jaguars versus Dolphins game. I forgot to predict that one. That's my fault. But I probably would have picked the Dolphins to win that one, which would have made me 12 for 16. But anyway, let's get started. Our first game, we have the Ravens versus Chiefs. It was a really good one. The half a toenail ending where the Ravens had it one last play, thought they had a touchdown. However, wide receiver Isaiah Likely was about a toenail deep out of bounds. So that was really painful for them, probably, but it's just week 1. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 27-20. Patrick Mahomes had 20 completions, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. Lamar Jackson had 16 carries, 122 rushing yards, while Isaiah Likely, 9 receptions, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown. Our next game would be the Packers versus Eagles in Brazil. Another really good one. Eagles won 34-29. Jordan Love got injured with about 6 seconds left in the game, and he will miss probably the next 4 to 6 games. Depends on how well he is doing. Jalen Hurts had 20 completions, 278 yards, and 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Saquon Barkley had 24 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. Jaden Reed for the Packers had 4 receptions for 138 yards and 1 touchdown. That's pretty amazing to have 138 yards in just 4 receptions. Our next game would be Panthers versus Saints. The Saints won 47-10. The Panthers still looking really bad. Better do something. Derek Carr, 19 completions, 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara led the game in rushing with 15 carries, 83 yards, and 1 touchdown. Rashid Shaheed had 3 receptions, 73 yards, and 1 touchdown. Our next game is the Vikings versus Giants. This game was not as close as I thought it would be. I predicted the Vikings to win by 2 points, not 22 points. The Vikings won 28-6. Sam Darnold had 19 completions, only 5 incompletions, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. While Aaron Jones had 14 carries, 94 yards, 1 touchdown in his debut as a Viking. Justin Jefferson, 4 receptions, 59 yards, and a TD. Next we have Patriots versus Bengals. I'm surprised the Patriots won this one. I thought Drake May would start, but it was actually Jacoby Brissett. Patriots won 16-10. The last few seasons, the Bengals always started off 0-2 and then had pretty good records. Well, last year they didn't make the playoffs, but they did really good. Not really good, but pretty good. Joe Burrow had 29 completions and 164 yards. Ramondre Stevenson led the game rushing with 25 carries, 120 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase had 6 receptions and 62 yards. Next game, Steelers versus Falcons. I thought, Russell Wilson was supposed to start, but however, he got hurt, so Justin Fields came in to play. And Kirk Cousins had his debut as a Falcon. Steelers won 18-10. Chris Boswell had 6 field goals, no touchdowns for the Steelers. Kirk Cousins had 16 completions, 150 at 5 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Najee Harris led the game in rushing with 20 carries and 70 rushing yards. George Pickens had 6 receptions and 85 yards. Next week, the Steelers go to Denver, so Russell Wilson might want to be healthy for that game. Next, we have Texans versus Colts. This game was a pretty good one. Texans won 29-27. CJ Stroud had 24 completions, 234 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon had 30 carries, 159 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Alec Pierce for the Colts had 3 receptions, 125 yards, and a touchdown. Next is Cardinals versus Bills. This game was a lot closer than I thought it would be, and also the Cardinals had a 17-3 lead. I honestly thought they were going to win it for a little while. I predicted the Bills to win 41-17, not 34-28. This was a one-score game, which was kind of surprising, so that might mean the Cardinals might actually do good this game. Josh Allen had 18 completions, also only had 5 incompletions, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, and two touchdowns on the ground. James Cook had 19 carries for 71 yards. And Keon Coleman for the Bills had 4 receptions and 51 yards. Next we have Titans versus Bears. The Titans also blew a 17-3 lead. Might have actually been 17-0, but I can't remember. Yes, they did blow a 17-0 lead. The Bears won 24-17 and scored 0 touchdowns on offense. Will Levis led the game in passing with 19 completions, 127 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Tony Pollard had 16 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown in his debut with the Titans. Calvin Ridley had 3 receptions and 50 yards. Next we have the game that I forgot to predict, Jaguars versus Dolphins. The Dolphins won 20-17. Jason Saunders kicked a 52-yard field goal as time expired to win the game. The Jaguars blew a 14-0 lead. Tua Tagovailoa had 23 completions, 338 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tank Bigsby for the Jaguars had 12 carries for 73 rushing yards. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Our next game would be Broncos versus Seahawks. The Broncos had 2 safeties in this game. 2. I've never seen more than 1 safety in a football game before, but they still lost 26-20. Geno Smith had 18 completions, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Bo Picks had 26 completions, 138 yards, and 2 interceptions in his debut as a Bronco. Kenneth Walker, 20 carries, 103 yards, and 1 touchdown. Bo Picks, 5 carries, 35 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He did pretty decent, besides the 2 picks in his debut. And Tyler Lockett had 6 receptions for 77 yards. Next we have the Raiders versus Chargers. Chargers won 22-10. Gardner Minshew, 25 completions, 257 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. J.K. Dobbins had 10 carries, 135 yards, and 1 touchdown in his debut as a Charger. Jacoby Myers, 3 receptions, and 61 rushing yards. Next we have the Cowboys versus the Browns. Cowboys won 33-17. Dak Prescott, 19 completions for 179 yards and a touchdown. Jerome Ford, 12 carries, 44 yards, and 1 touchdown. And CeeDee Lamb had 5 receptions for 61 yards. Next we have Commanders versus the Buccaneers. Buccaneers won 37-20. Baker Mayfield had 24 completions, 289 yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. Jaden Daniels had 18 carries for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first NFL game. And Chris Godwin had 8 receptions for 83 yards and 1 touchdown. And our Sunday night game was Rams versus Lions, a wild card rematch game. Lions won 26-20 on a David Montgomery 1-yard touchdown run in overtime. Matthew Stafford had exactly 100 more passing yards than Jared Goff did. He had 34 completions, 217 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. David Montgomery had 17 carries, 91 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jameson Williams had 5 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Puka Nacua got injured and will be out for a number of games. I don't know how many, but I'm pretty sure he's not out for the season. And our last game of the week was Jets versus 49ers. Aaron Rodgers started the season on another Monday Night Football game. However, he did not tear his Achilles this game, though. 49ers won 32-19. Brock Purdy had 29 completions, 231 yards, and no touchdowns. Jordan Mason had 28 carries, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Alan Lazard, former Packer, played with Rodgers, had 6 receptions and 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is it on our NFL Week 1 recap. I'll be back next week for my Week 2 recap. And I'm about to make my Week 2 predictions video, so you might not want to miss that one. It'll be a good one. So, hope you have a good day. Bye.